Good afternoon, Fit Fam. This is Stefan, and for today's video, I'll be talking about the importance of your feet and your hips in terms of movement. Now, as we dive into the conversation, a lot of times what I see with a lot of people and human beings in general is that when they engage in exercise or movement, they do not have the conscious awareness of what to do with their feet and their hips. And a lot of times when this leads not only to you doing high-level movement, but just everyday life, a lot of people get hurt and injured because they do not understand where their body is shifting and where it is going to go. In today's modern world, a lot of human beings, they tend to compartmentalize things, and we, in terms of movement and exercise, we tend to do the same thing. We tend to say, this is my foot, this is my thigh, this is my stomach, this is my shoulder, instead of looking at the entire body from a holistic perspective, seeing the entire thing as an entire movement to be utilized as such. And so really, when you begin to understand this, the first thing you must realize is that your feet is the most important thing in movement. If on a fundamental level, everything is energy, and your body is being used as a conduit to transfer that energy, then your feet is the foundation from which that energy can be transferred. And so once the energy is transferred from the feet, it moves up the lower extremity into the hips. And so if your feet are in a misplaced alignment, or if you do not understand exactly where to place your feet so that you can transfer the energy properly, then what you must do is you must either break down whatever movement you're doing or slow down whatever exercise you're doing so that you increase the proficiency that you are doing the exercise in. So I remember one day I was doing snatches, and I'm right-handed, and I was doing snatches with my left hand, and I was doing snatches at a very high efficiency with my left hand. And then I switched to my right hand to do the snatches, and I wasn't able to do the snatches as correctly or at the level that I wanted to. And so I was sitting there, and I sat back for a second, and I began to ponder, why is my snatches on my right hand not as good as my left hand? And then I realized that the energy in my body was being transferred from my left foot up through the hip to my right arm. And when I realized this, I was like, oh, okay. Instead of me trying to muscle the weight up with just the right side of my body, let me utilize my feet and transfer the energy properly. And so you'll see this a lot of times, even in the bench press. A lot of people tend to believe that the bench press is just a upper body movement. They give no qualms about what is going on with the lower portion of their body. And so if you really want to see any gains or any progress in any of your movements or in any high level sport, begin to focus on what is going on with your feet and what is going on with your hips. So if you're doing a bench press, really, the hip drive, in the bench press, hip drive doesn't exist. What you're doing is you're engaging the lower portion of your body so that when you begin to transfer the energy to the barbell, you're doing so in an efficient manner. You're not actually really driving your hips, you're just engaging the musculature so that the energy can transfer through it. And so really continue to break down movements, continue to learn your body so that you become more and more efficient in exactly what you are doing, so that when you go back and you begin to increase that intensity, you're able to engage in such movement at a higher level. You guys stay blessed and have a great rest of your day.